2 years ago, the world experienced the passing of Chadwick Boseman. At the moment, I felt it inappropriate to start thinking about the sequel to Black Panther, as Chadwick had just passed, but eventually the question of how a sequel will play out without his titular character arose. A huge question was whether Marvel Studios would recast T'Challa or not. We eventually learned of their decision not to. This brought many people to theorize that Shuri would take on the mantle as she does in the comics. I decided, just as an exercise, to try and come up with what I would do with a sequel. Since the movie comes out this Friday, I thought I would upload it now and see how it measures with the actual film. I don't have a full script, just themes and ideas. I have not seen anything beyond the first trailer, as I feel many Marvel trailers show off things I would rather see or find out while watching the film. But I've implemented certain details we have learned since Dan in his pre-write. I also came up with this idea for a sequel a year ago, so certain aspects like Ironheart are not present here. Without further delay, I welcome you to my pitch meeting for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. To begin, I wanted to say that I do not have a solution to explain T'Challa's absence. I don't believe that I'm capable of tackling such a difficult subject, so it's not something I'll be touching upon, though the film will start off with this explanation. Recently, Marvel has introduced their villains at the beginning, but I will introduce mine later on. Following the absence of T'Challa, many people will be targeting Wakanda's vibranium. Wakanda began sharing their knowledge and resources with the world, but after the snap, people became desperate. Seeing as they are in danger, Wakanda holds ritual combat in order to decide who will be the next Black Panther. Every tribe is aware of M'Baku's goal of becoming the next Black Panther and ruler of Wakanda. He believes he is the only one capable of doing what is necessary. Even with their mightiest warriors, M'Baku is successful in his mission. He begins pushing back against the thieves coming into Wakanda. Once again, Okoye is forced to follow the one who sits on the throne, and she begins to believe something has to be done in order to not fall in this position again. This is when we're introduced to our main antagonist, Namor. I know that it would no longer be called Atlantis, but because I have not seen the trailers and I don't know the new name, I'm still going to refer to it as Atlantis for this pitch meeting. We see Atlantis as a thriving city above the water. Thriving was advanced technology. This is when we're introduced to Namor as a child. His parents hid him as he was born with a mutation, wings on his ankles. Atlantis is thriving, but when a massive earthquake hits, we see Atlantis sink to the bottom of the ocean. While everyone begins to panic in the water, they look up and notice Namor, with his wings flying above everyone. From this day forward, he is seen as a miracle child, the one that is going to help bring back Atlantis to what it was. Atlantis begins to develop underwater, and Namor becomes the king of Atlantis, with Atuma becoming his right-hand man. Going back to present day, Atuma hears about T'Challa's absence and decides that now is the time to strike. Atuma will be the one influencing Namor, and Namor's plan will be to strike Wakanda now that they have lost their king and are weak. He will steal Wakanda's technology and vibranium in order to make Atlantis what it once was, a thriving, advanced civilization. To his surprise, when he arrives, he notices there's a new Black Panther, M'Baku. M'Baku begins a war with Wakanda, which leads Shuri, Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and Nakia to question their way of electing a king. This is where my theme will come in: traditionalism versus modernism. Shuri, Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and M'Baku begins a war with Atlantis, which leads to Shuri, Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and Nakia to question their way of electing a king. This is where my theme will come in: traditionalism versus modernism. Shuri, Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and Nakia realize that the last time they used ritual combat to choose a king, they got Killmonger. Now that they've done it again, they got M'Baku. Maybe the way they do things needs to change. Wakanda needs a leader, someone who will lead them into the future, not a warrior. Obviously, M'Baku would be against any change, as he would say, "This is how things have always been done. It's always worked," which leads Shuri to repeating her line from the first film: "Just because something works doesn't mean it cannot be improved." This also ties back to the first film where M'Baku challenges T'Challa, saying, "We have watched and listened from the mountains. We have watched was discussed as your technological advancements have been overseen by a child who scoffs at tradition." Traditionally, Wakanda has always had a king, but maybe it's time for things to change. As the film goes on, the people of Wakanda begin to see Shuri as the best possible candidate, as she is royalty and is the one who has helped Wakanda technologically advance. This gets solidified when Shuri attempts to talk with Namor and understand where he is coming from. Where M'Baku declared a war, Shuri managed to understand the opposition and come to an agreement. Namor stops the war, but Atuma isn't happy. Atuma has been the one pushing Namor to strike Wakanda and build back up technologically to what they were before. So Shuri as a new Black Panther, elected by the people, Namor and the people of Wakanda team up against Atuma and his army and end up defeating him. I want Atuma to come back later, as Marvel has a habit of killing their villains who have a lot of potential. So Atuma calls off his attack, Shuri agrees to help Namor, and the Atlanteans build back up. Seeing as now Namor has an Aztec-inspired background, I think it would be beautiful to get a shot with both Shuri and Namor shaking hands, black and brown united. It just gives me chills. Wakanda realizes that we simply say that's how things have always been, we would never get anywhere. But also, using Namor, knowing how to appreciate the past, it's about a balance. This is just a rough idea, as I don't know the whole thing and I don't have it planned out, but I'm pretty happy with what I have. I think Ryan Coogler is more than capable of tackling such a theme as traditionalism versus modernism. Of course, I have a few ideas here and there, but I feel like he will be able to flesh this out. I do not have a mid or end credit scene planned beyond just simply paying tribute to Chadwick. I don't think this is a film that needs one. Also, I know people have been saying that it's almost a 3-hour film, so there's time to bring in the multiverse and bring back Killmonger. But I'm not a big fan of that, because I feel his death was very impactful and very powerful, and I feel like, yes, Killmonger is a character I wish they didn't kill off and I wish we would have seen more of, but he has such a powerful ending that I just don't want to bring him back because it would ruin what we had in the first film. But yeah, that was my small pitch for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Please let me know what you guys think about it in the comments, and if you guys would like to see more of these. I have one planned for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 already, so just let me know if you want to see that one. Hopefully I can upload it early and not right when the movie comes out. Sometimes it's difficult to record and put a video together, especially editing, because it's annoying. So if this video seems lazily edited, it was. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and well, I'll see the actual film and see how it turns out and it compares to this. It was fun to put this together, so thank you for everyone, and hopefully the next video does not come out a year from now like this one did. So bye.